So I called Rick Kittles, and I said, Rick, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He goes, no, man, she made that up herself. It's a true story. It's a true story. I would lie to make you laugh, but I'm telling you a true story. So I said, Rick, are you in your lab? He said, yeah. I said, is anybody there? He said, no. I said, when the results come in, make her a Zulu, man. You know? I said, you back there making it up anyway. I said, you back there making it up anyway. The third myth, okay, I want everybody to be honest. Just the African Americans in this room. How many of you are descended from a Native American? Just raise your hand. Don't be ashamed. There you go. Look at all them Native Americans. Well, I got news for you. None of y'all descended from Native America.
That part, that part, that part, that part.
My grandmother had high cheekbones and straight black hair. Every Negro I know claimed that in 1950. Well, guess what the DNA evidence shows? Only 5% of the African American people, 1 out of 20, have any significant Native American ancestry. But 1 out of 20. But on the other hand, 58% of the African American people have a significant amount of white ancestry. You know that those high cheekbones and straight black hair? That came from your white great-great-grandfather. The average African American and the average Native American never saw each other. I don't know about you all, but you can't sleep with, the internet can do a lot, but you can't sleep with somebody you can't see. The average admixture for African Americans is the average black person is 77% black, 17.5% European, and 5% Native American. Now, I was telling the students this morning, I went to see LeBron lose against the Celtics on Tuesday night, I'm very happy to say. Yeah. And I was thinking, if I did the DNA of all the black men on the court, which was everybody on the court when I got this idea, if I did the DNA of all the black men on the court or all the black men in this room, 1 in 3 of you descend from a white man. 30 to 35% of all African American men and their Y DNA goes to Europe, not to Africa, because of enforced sexuality, rape, or at the best, an unequal power relationship.
When a man knows good from evil, he's much better off making up his own prayers. Me and God, we get along good. As I see it, God created me in his image and likeness. That's in the Bible. That's why I'm white. Then he made the Negro, which is also in the Bible, which says that he immediately regretted it and damned the entire race, leaving them without a soul fit only to be my slaves.
Because, I found Morgan Freeman in African American Lives. His white overseer impregnates black slave. That's Morgan's great-great-grandmother, so you figure it's rape, right? Well, guess what? I ended up showing him their tombstones. They lived together illegally in Mississippi from the time of the abolition of slavery to their death. So they had some kind of connection. So that maybe, maybe it is possible. I don't know. It's complicated. How can you love somebody who owns you? But who am I to say? But it was very complicated. But in most cases, it was enforced sexuality at the least and rape at best. Here are the figures. 1% of the African American people have at least 50% European ancestry, the equivalent of one parent. 19.6% of the African American people have at least 25% European ancestry. 58% of us have at least 12.5% European ancestry, the equivalent of one great-grandparent, and only 5% of the African American people have at least 12.5% Native American ancestry, equivalent of one great-grandparent. So for those of you who raise your hand, I've identified the Native American tribe you're from. It is the Blackfoot tribe. That is where you're
My folks is not from Africa. And a lot of people in this room, folks, ain't from Africa. Might be a couple, but people just don't understand. I asked my grandma, like, yo, grandma, what's your background? She like, Redfoot and Blacktail Indian. What? Yeah, my mother and my father, we 100% Indians. Ask my other grandmother, we got Cherokee in us. And ask my other grandmother, we got Cherokee in us, and European and Italian, a little Dominican. It's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck?
So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, what we were trying to do is use the new sophisticated tools of genealogy, ancestry tracing, and genetics, not to take our people back to the future, but to take them black to the future. Thank you very much.